A video dropped today that literally exposed everything that you thought that you have been living through in hip hop the last year and a half has all been manufactured, and it's all been a lie, and it's all been orchestrated at the hand of one entity, Roc Nation. After this video, there's no doubts about it. Anybody who's adjacent to Roc Nation, they're disgusting, they're the devil, and they should also rot in prison. Because you don't get to do this to people and get away with it. This level of targeted harassment has to stop. Jay-Z did an interview, his first interview in a while earlier this year, where he essentially pledged revenge on all his enemies. Now, we didn't know to what extent he was gonna go when he said it, but we knew, in Jay-Z words, he was gonna be playing offense this year, not defense.
Things I took, because we lived and died by that. So it's strict for me, like it meant a lot to me. I took that really hard. And I knew that we was gonna walk through that. We was gonna walk through that. Because, first of all, it's not true. And the truth is, at the end of the day, it still reigns supreme.
When you're feeling these feelings, how do you then bounce back and get back to being Jay-Z?
I don't know. This is the first thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Actually, it was just like, all right, man, we played enough defense. 2026 is all offense.
After Jay-Z said this, it felt like clockwork. Everybody got information and began to push Roc Nation's agenda against all of Roc Nation enemies. Now, a lot of these people share the same enemies as Roc Nation, but it still felt it still felt like they were all moving as a unit. Because what do we see happen after this interview? We see Jay-Z go after DJ Akademiks, Aiden Ross, Akademiks TV, and other entities that were severely anti-Roc Nation, other entities that helped Desiree's daughter get her messaging and her story out there, going against Roc Nation and going against Desiree, right? We see them calling Akademiks for a deposition, Aiden Ross for a deposition, because they've been critical. They used this sham lawsuit with Milagro to harass Akademiks, Akademiks TV, and other people in other independent blogs. We see them setting fraudulent copyright strikes. So we seen them go on the attack. We even began to see, now I'm not accusing anybody, maybe they were doing this without even knowing what they were doing, but we began to see media personalities start to drum up like false accusations on Akademiks TV, Akademiks, Drake, and other people who Roc Nation don't like. And some of those false accusations were accusing them of doing something illegal in their partnership with State.
According to this article on Inverse, it says, according to a stack of class action lawsuits filed across 5 states this spring, who got paid? Bot operators. The suits claim the proceeds financed streaming farms that pumped out millions of fake plays of Drake's catalog, bending Spotify's algorithm, faking a culture-wide consensus, manufacturing the very stardom that made the casino deal valuable in the first place. A rigged casino generates fake wins. The fake wins fund fake streams. The fake streams manufacture real fame. The real fame sells the casino. A perfect circle that never once touches reality, which brings us finally to the man behind the curtain who you genuinely cannot make this up. Goes by Grand Wizard. George Wynn, an Australian named as a defendant, allegedly runs the Akademiks TV account and operates in chat under that handle. The filings cast him as the operational hinge, the guy who converts the state crypto to cash, okay? Liaisons with the bot vendors and coordinates narratives, the paid clips, the manufactured praise, the slander of rival artists, the synthetic chat hype that makes a stage moment feel organic, and per the leaked chat, logs the complaints lean on. The wizard wasn't freelancing. He was allegedly taking his marching orders straight from Drake and DJ Akademiks. The hype man for the hype was himself a hire? George Wynn, named in the lawsuits as the operator, strip away the crypto rails and the bot farms, and what you're left with is almost petty. 2 grown famous men allegedly running a burner, offense to the Akademiks TV account, and the Grand Wizard handle function per the filing and the leaked logs as a deniable sock puppet, a back room where the biggest artists alive and one of rap media's loudest voices could manufacture their own applause, seed their own talking points, and quietly knife rival artists without ever putting their names on the knife. Sit with that image for a second.
That Inverse website was actually a fake AI website that auto-generated negative stories about Drake and solely Drake. It was like Drake, Akademiks, and Grand Wizard. Like 99.9% of the AI-generated articles was about Drake. And it was about the same subjects. It was about, like these lawsuits, and it was about like, oh my God, Drake and Steak is doing something illegal. They're about to go to jail. This is, this is wrong. This is illegal. This is money laundering. They were creating AI-generated articles accusing Drake of doing something illegal that could result in jail time. And it was all surrounding Drake's business dealings with Stake. So these folks created a fake website, seeded defamation via articles about Drake, and then they covered their own defamation articles as if it was legitimate. Again, let me slow it down for you, okay? They created a fake website, generated articles slandering Drake and other people surrounding Drake via their own website, and then they covered their own website as if this was something they just discovered and read the articles as if they were legitimate.
Stake was getting sued all through 2025 by multiple states through multiple lawsuits, and Drake's name never came up once. And then something changed, and just watch the timeline. On October 9th, 2025, Drake's lawsuit against UMG got thrown out. 18 days later, he's suddenly named in a Stake lawsuit in Missouri. 2 days after that, New Mexico. A few weeks later, Virginia, then New Jersey. It was like a whole year of Stake lawsuits with not a single mention of Drake, but then all of a sudden, something happens where he ends up in lawsuit after lawsuit. However, the most important cases to focus on are the Virginia and New Jersey cases, and they were both filed by the exact same law firm. These two cases go beyond gambling entirely. They claim Drake used a hidden tipping feature on Stake to secretly send crypto to pay for bot farms, fake accounts, or machines used to stream his music and fake his popularity.
Nobody who read this lawsuit thought it was legitimate. The only people who gave it some credibility were the people who were trying to weaponize it against Drake. Like, these people were suing Drake or suing Stake, right? Because they're claiming Stake owe them money, but yet they spend 99.9% of the lawsuit talking about Drake's record sales and how Drake is attacking, these moguls and these OGs in hip hop, quote unquote Jay-Z, but they didn't want to say Jay-Z's name, right? So nobody thought this was actually legit, like at all. Like this was just absolutely absurd. And that's just a fact.
Well, a gambling lawsuit would start with someone who lost money, and in Virginia, that's two women, allegedly Stake users, who found a lawyer. They go in, they say, I lost money on an illegal platform, and I want my money back. It's a very simple case. Like, I lost money, that casino is illegal, I want it back. That's it. So how did two random women who lost money on a casino app walk into a law office with detailed theories about Drake's crypto tipping with streaming farms and bot vendors, and then there's this guy named George moving money in the background? How did those women even get that information? How did they get that? Like, it just doesn't add up. And where it gets stranger is that these lawsuits also accuse Drake, Akademiks, and George of using Stake to go after music competitors and executives. Yeah, you heard it right. It is a gambling lawsuit that is worried about music executives and music competitors getting their feelings hurt, being talked about negatively. That's what you have here. So just think about it. Who in the music industry could this possibly be about? Well, the lawsuit doesn't name any executives, so just fill in the blanks.
When you take a deep dive or a deep look into this lawsuit, you quickly realize the women who sued Drake and Stake, right? The ex-cons, well, they are linked to a law firm that's linked to Roc Nation, that's linked to the fake AI website, that's linked to having issues with Drake. Yo, this is all full circle, and you're about to hear it shortly, okay? It all starts at the Akademiks deposition that Roc Nation did for the Megan Thee Stallion lawsuit.
Who have Akademiks and his team actually been critical of over the last couple years? Only two camps come up. TDE, the Kendrick side, Punch, Dave Free, Doechii, and Roc Nation, Jay-Z, and Desiree Perez. Those are the only two. The only two. Now, Akademiks ended up subpoenaed as a witness in the Milagro case. He sat down with Megan's lawyers and he recorded it. But there was something very, very strange about this deposition. Ak was there as a witness about Megan, Milagro, and Tori, but for some reason, Drake, who has nothing to do with that case, kept coming up.
And you said that you weren't so happy about not being paid to promote Drake, and you said it was probably due to your blind loyalty. Are you blindly loyal to Drake? Did you ever leak exclusive information from someone on Drake's camp? What type of information have you leaked that you received from Drake's camp?
They asked about Drake repeatedly, but guess what else they asked about?
What is stake? Do you have any joint accounts with anybody through which you receive any kind of compensation for your work? How did you get connected with the individuals at stake to be in a sponsor relationship? Conversations with Drake about, has he ever sent you any sort of cryptocurrency or digital assets for any reason?
And they also asked about George, aka Grand Wizard.
Of the individual who runs the Grand Wizard chat account?
The problem is the legal team accidentally shared their own screen and their own internal chat, and sitting right there for everyone to see was one name, Desiree Perez is the CEO of Roc Nation.
And this is where I realized we got you. Y'all are liars. Tell Des.
So just think about it. Roc Nation's legal team deposed Akademiks for a defamation case about a blogger and spent hours asking them about Stake, Drake, and George, the exact three names that would soon sit at the dead center of two gambling lawsuits that hadn't even been filed yet. They were even trying to link Drake to George in this deposition and asking questions about it.
The person who runs the Grand Wizard account has ever been associated with an account called OVO Grand $, because OVO is Drake's record label, right? Did he give you any indication whether or not there was truth to him communicating with the individual who runs the Grand Wizard chat account?
If this video stopped here, that would be enough. Like that right there would be enough to tell you they were already up to no good. But here's the thing, and we watched it with the Akademiks and Charlamagne the God interview. People who want to root for Roc Nation or want to root for Jay-Z or want to root for Desiree Perez and all the evil things they do, they will play oblivious. They will play dumb, right? They will play as if they don't know how to connect the dots. We watched it in real time with the Charlamagne the God and Akademiks interview, right? Charlamagne, huh? Really? Nah, what? Nah, man, bro, how you know? Nah, man, he did what? Nah, man, see, I'm not even on it. And so you got to really break it down to where there is no leeway. There is no escape. And once you figure out the names and the law firm of who exactly is behind all these fictitious, frivolous lawsuits against Drake and Stake and Akademiks and Grand Wizard, and who was the first one to put those three names in the same lawsuit and did it over and over and over again, you get your answer. You get essentially a criminal indictment that's like, that even the greatest Jay-Z defender can't talk themselves out of. Even the greatest Roc Nation supporters can't really what-if their way out of this one. This is as concrete back against the wall as I've ever seen Roc Nation in my life. They really got caught red-handed.
Did Drake ever tell you one way or another if he paid to help secure Grand Wizard's account?
And the Virginia lawsuit gets even stranger when you look at who's actually suing. At first, it was just two women, Tiffany Hines and Lashana Ridley, and because their names are now public in a very public case against a very public figure, I pulled their backgrounds. This is not their first time inside a courtroom. Lashana Ridley was convicted in 2015 on a cocaine felony, and like a lot of people who get caught in the system, it didn't end there. It turned into years stuck in the probation trap. Violation after violation, always at the mercy of the court. That cycle finally ended for her in 2021 when she got an early release. And you will see in a minute why all this matters. The other plaintiff, Tiffany Hines, had the exact same charge, a 2018 cocaine felony that sent her down the same probation rabbit hole, multiple violations, constantly back and forth with a judge. For this one, I couldn't confirm whether her probation had ever been fully lifted. But now it gets really interesting, because eventually 6 more people were added to this lawsuit, and most of them are directly connected to those first 2 women. First up, we have 63-year-old Regina Ridley. This is Lashana Ridley's blood relative. They shared the same address for years. This I've confirmed. But that's not even all, because another person directly tied to Lashana got added. A man named Predatory with multiple felonies between 2007 and 2016, and records showed he lived at the exact same address as Lashana, and as of 2026, it looks like they still live together. I believe this is her partner, and now he's also added to the lawsuit. And Preddy got an early release from probation back in 2021 too, within 2 days of Lashana. But let's keep going through the other plaintiffs. Tiffany Hines, not to be outdone, brought in a blood relative of her own, 55-year-old Stephanie Hines, and as you could see, these two are clearly related. Then they added Takia Adams, same pattern of run-ins with the law, with a more recent identity theft conviction in 2024. As far as I could tell, she's still on probation. Then there was Ricola Lachey, again through the court system multiple times, 2 drug felony convictions, a probation history just like the others, with a violation in 2024.
If you haven't figured this out by now, you sleep, man. Jay-Z is an evil man, okay? Jay-Z has been out here screaming probation reform, justice reform. He's been out here making that his life's work and his life mission. What we're about to see, he utilized that noble cause for a whole lot of evil. You guys think a bunch of ex-cons, a bunch of people on probation, a bunch of ex-felons, you think they so savvy with the phone they were able to figure out, oh man, you think a bunch of ex-con felons fresh out of jail, you think they gambling on stake? You think they savvy enough to put together an entire class action lawsuit against Drake, Stake, and Akademiks and Grand Wizard? Huh? You think a bunch of ex-con and ex-felons were so savvy enough they were able to retain the powerhouse attorneys? Clearly and obviously not. Clearly, these were ex-cons and ex-felons who worked their way into the grip of some predators, and those predators utilized them as pawns to go at Stake, to go at Drake, to go at Akademiks, and to do their mission for them. And you'll find out shortly who those predators are.
Keep in mind, these people are like extremely concerned over Drake's streaming numbers, right? It's imperative that they get to the bottom of this. They're losing sleep over it. And they don't want the executives being talked about negatively. So let's look at this for what it is. We've got 2 plaintiffs that share the last name Ridley. 2 more share the last name Hines. In an 8-person class, half the names are pairing off. 2 of them, Lashana Ridley and Preddy Ray, have shared the same Norfolk address for years. Not the same city, they live in the same house, and all 8 come out of the same metro area, running through the same criminal courts. It looks completely ridiculous. A class action lawsuit is supposed to be open to anyone who was hurt by the thing you're suing over. And the whole point of a platform like Stake is that anybody anywhere with a phone can lose money on it. A real class should have scattered total strangers, but instead you've got shared last names with blood relatives, shared households, all packed into this one tiny corner of one state. In my opinion, this is not a class of strangers who all stumbled upon the Stake app. These are people that know each other, that filed together. Which raises the obvious question, if these people were connected before the lawsuit, whether it was from the same families or being from the same neighborhoods or in the same court, then who brought them together, and who decided this was the group that should sue Drake with an elaborate theory about botted streams and crypto tipping through Stake? This is where we look into the firm that filed the lawsuit. The firm handling the Virginia case is Impressa Legal Group, the same firm that filed the New Jersey lawsuit, which is basically a carbon copy. It has the same theory from the same firm. And when you look at the lawyers whose names are actually on the filing, it gets interesting fast. George Costell and Richard Kelsey of Impressa Legal Group. George Costell owns the firm, but the interesting part is his history. He's a former commercial litigation partner at a firm called Reed Smith, and I'll explain why this matters in a second. The other owner of the firm, Jason Matchek, was also a partner at Reed Smith, and Richard Kelsey, the other attorney on the case, worked at Reed Smith too. In fact, it's right here on his own Facebook. It's even on Impressa's own website under the About Us page. It proudly lists Reed Smith as one of the firms that their attorneys come from. And if Reed Smith were just any firm, but Reed Smith isn't just any firm, it has a very specific, very documented relationship with Roc Nation and the woman who runs it. Her name is Desiree Perez. She is the CEO of Roc Nation, one of the most powerful people in the entire music industry, and Reed Smith is her personal law firm. Right now, in 2026, Reed Smith lawyers are representing her personally in an active lawsuit. This is all confirmed in court records. But to understand why Desiree matters here, you need to look at who she actually is, because Desiree Perez has a documented history as Jay-Z's fixer or the person who handles the problem.
I can already hear the Jay-Z and Roc Nation defenders, but Flacco, so what? Powerful attorneys represent a lot of people. So what? So what? If I have the same attorney as the people who sued Drake, that means that I did it too. You already know the excuses is coming, right? The excuses are probably getting louder as we edge closer and closer, right? As we edge closer and closer, it's getting louder. But here's the thing, okay? Reed Smith and Desiree Perez isn't just attorney and client. No, they have worked hand in hand to take down other people, according to this video. One of those people is pretty well known.
The part that's even more compelling, because in 2023, ESPN conducted an investigation into how NFL coach John Gurdon's private emails got leaked, which was a leak that ended his career and helped bring down an NFL owner. According to that reporting, the operation was run through Reed Smith with the help from Desiree Perez, using leaked private communications to take down a target. Basically, in a nutshell, this wasn't just an attorney dealing with her client. It sounds like Desiree Perez and Reed Smith were working together as conspirators to destroy someone's reputation. This is not a rumor. This was documented by ESPN. So just think about the playbook. Perez and Reed Smith have already been described in national reporting as a unit that used leaked private messages to destroy someone. And the same firm that is filing this lawsuit against Drake and Stake is in the bloodline of Reed Smith. Now look back at these lawsuits against Drake, because they say the exact same thing. It's about leaked DMs, leaked chat logs.
Do you know that his DMs were leaked? That what was leaked appeared to be DMs between the person who runs that account and Drake?
And it even goes deeper. Reed Smith doesn't just represent Desiree personally, it represents Roc Nation, the company. Remember in 2024 when Megan Thee Stallion was sued by a former cameraman named Emilio Garcia? In that case, Roc Nation's lawyers were Reed Smith, and Megan's lawyers were Quinn Emanuel, the same Quinn Emanuel you saw in the Akademiks deposition. Basically, the lawyers who were questioning Akademiks worked with Reed Smith in the past, which is Desiree's firm. So let's just line up what we have. The two lawyers who filed the Drake lawsuit came out of Reed Smith. Reed Smith is tied to Desiree Perez and Roc Nation. Reed Smith works alongside the same firm that deposed Akademiks. We even mentioned earlier in this video that Reed Smith was the firm who was filing these false copyright claims on behalf of Roc Nation.
To be from the law firm called Reed Smith, issued a copyright takedown request on the video.
Now let's seal this up tight. So Reed Smith, obviously, right, is in bed with Desiree Perez. They're in bed with Roc Nation. They have done work for Roc Nation. They're still doing work for Roc Nation. They have allegedly done some dirty work with Desiree Perez against other people. They've helped take down people on behalf of Desiree Perez, allegedly. But let's seal this up tight. So we know the law firm that's involved in this Drake lawsuit, right? They are clearly and obviously, in my opinion, allegedly, right? They are suing Drake. They're orchestrating this takedown on behalf of Roc Nation. So all those people who was making videos saying, "Hey, listen, man, I heard Akademiks and Drake about to be arrested. I can't say too much." Y'all remember that era about a month or two ago when all those dudes were making videos about how they had access to top secret information, but they couldn't tell Akademiks who gave them that information? And I'm not just talking about Charlamagne the God. Like Jeremy had information that he couldn't really say who gave it to him. They somehow had access to Akademiks' Rumble payments. So these people have been plotting and planning this for a while now, and they're running the same play on Akademiks, Drake, and others that they ran on John Gruden, from what it appears, right? And they went ahead and gave out this information. They gave out these lawsuits. They gave out their quote-unquote finance to content creators, and those content creators weaponized it and used it against Akademiks, Drake, and others on behalf of Roc Nation. I'm side-eyeing all you content creators, bruh, who claim y'all was sent information that y'all can't really disclose, but you guys have proof that Akademiks about to go to jail. I'm looking at all you guys sideways, bruh. So Roc Nation and Desiree was feeding y'all information to disseminate it on behalf of them. That's some nasty stuff right there, bruh. But let's seal this up tight, man. So where do these people come from? How do they factor in? Why and how is Reed Smith connected to these people that ultimately is suing Drake, Akademiks, and Grand Wizard, in my opinion, right, as get back for them dissing or going at Roc Nation?
But what does that have to do with this Virginia lawsuit? Well, remember, almost everyone in this case has a criminal record and a history of probation problems, which brings us to Roc Nation's nonprofit, Reform Alliance. Reform Alliance is a criminal justice organization co-founded by Jay-Z, Fanatic CEO Michael Rubin. Remember, he's in the gambling business too, and then Desiree Perez is on its board. The company's entire mission is fighting the probation trap, which is the exact system that kept a lot of our plaintiffs stuck in a cycle of violations for years. Then there's the fact that some of the plaintiffs in this case seem to still be on probation. One of the first states that they went into was Virginia. In 2021, Reform Alliance pushed to change Virginia's probation laws, and they won. They got a law passed that allowed early release for people stuck on probation, and it took effect July 1st, 2021. Now remember Lashana Ridley and Predatory, two of the plaintiffs suing Drake. In December 2021, 5 months after that new law kicked in, Lashana Ridley was released from probation early, and exactly 2 days later, so was Predatory. So basically, the people suing Drake were freed from Virginia's probation system in the exact same year that Jay-Z and Desiree Perez's organization rewrote Virginia's probation laws. But this only gets tighter. On October 18, 2024, Reform Alliance and Roc Nation held a massive public job fair in Virginia. The job fair was built to help formerly incarcerated people find work and get help cleaning up their criminal records. And guess who Roc Nation brought in to handle the legal services at the event? Reed Smith. The exact same firm that represents Desiree Perez, the exact same firm that represents Roc Nation, the exact same firm Impressa's owners came from. They were physically in the room at Roc Nation's event in Virginia, sitting across from formerly incarcerated people who were on probation, and we know Reed Smith was there because Reform Alliance said it themselves. Their own website said Reed Smith would be on hand to help with expungement. Expungement is when they erase the records from your criminal history, wipe them entirely. And do you guys remember PR Newswire, the paid wire service website that Impressa used to blast out the Drake lawsuit right in the middle of his rollout? I looked into their full history on it. Out of every case Impressa Legal Group has ever handled, do you know how many times they've used that website for a press release? Twice. Only twice, and both times it was to announce a lawsuit against Drake. One for Virginia, one for New Jersey. Now guess who uses PR Newswire all the time? Guess who has a whole account for announcing their biggest initiatives? Roc Nation and Reform Alliance. Roc Nation pays PR Newswire constantly. Pretty much everything Jay-Z does gets pushed through it, including that exact Virginia job fair in October 2024. So basically, a tiny firm that had never touched PR Newswire suddenly used the exact same paid platform Roc Nation lives on to run a national smear on Drake, using lawyers who came out of the exact same law firm that Roc Nation uses, representing plaintiffs who benefited from Roc Nation's probation laws, many of them blood relatives, in a gambling lawsuit that's somehow really about the authenticity of Drake's streams and music executives getting talked about. Again, I'll leave this information with you.
This is like paying the local junkie on the block $20 to go knock out somebody that you don't like. This is what this is, bruh. Jay-Z is a block hugger. So this is, this is like going to the hood and paying a local junkie $20 to go over and knock out somebody who was bullying you. This is what this is. They had a job fair, a bunch of ex-felons who benefited from their early release program that they helped push, gave them their information for quote-unquote jobs. So they had a long list of ex-felons who was willing and ready to sue whatever. Listen, man, they willing and ready to sign up with their name on a dotted line, and you can use their name for anything you want to use it for, as long as they getting paid. Now, this is all a theory, people. This is all a theory. But shout out to What's the Dirt, because he connected the dots, man. And with this lawsuit, not lawsuit, but this video, what this video really made me realize, man, is everything we've been witnessing is all fake. And we should pay very close attention to all the people who spent the last year trying to legitimize these lawsuits, trying to legitimize these websites, trying to legitimize these articles. We should pay very close attention to those people, man. Like the folks who spent the last year or so trying to convince us that Drake could possibly be going down for crypto and gambling and money laundering. Now, the worst part about this too is it feels like these people brought this lawsuit because they were trying to spark an investigation. They were trying to spark an actual investigation, much like the Diddy thing, right? Where Cassie filed that lawsuit and then the feds picked it up. Just how they were repeating and reiterating and regurgitating money laundering, crypto gambling illegal, crypto gambling illegal, money laundering, crypto gambling illegal, money laundering, crypto gambling. Every one of them who talked about this had the same talking points. Crypto gambling illegal, crypto gambling illegal. It felt like they were trying to repeat it enough, make it loud enough to where the feds picked it up. These folks was trying to put federal indictments on somebody. Orchestrated, get it from out of thin air. These people are the devil. And anybody who thinks different, I'm questioning you, bruh. This is just disgusting. Man, y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, bruh? All right, what do y'all think, okay? If you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this video right here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here, or here, or here, or here, somewhere on my screen to find out why Whack 100 went off after being confronted mid-interview. I'm going to see you guys in this Whack 100 video. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.